Hello Scorpio, how's it going? This is your May forecast for 2017. And this month the sun, which is you, the essence of you, you're going to be focusing on relationships, your long-term relationships, whether that is with your significant other, but it could also be with anybody that you engage with one-on-one. So it could be a partner, a business partner, or whatnot. It could even be a client. But the sun is focusing on how these relationships are working. Your essence are going into it. And better yet, also Venus is now moving into Aries, and that just means that your Venus is going to be all fired up. We like to think about Aries as the conquistador, right? The one who initiates. So just see yourself kicking into action right now and really wanting to get things up and running and perfected in many ways. And that's because Venus is in your 6th house, which is ruled by Virgo, which really likes to have everything organized. And so you'll see that you're going to be focusing on getting all your ducks in a row so you can work more efficiently, not just here and now, but it's like hitting the reset button so that your day-to-day events can flow that much easier for you for the entire year until Venus comes around and wants to clean up this area. The 6th house is also about your health there, Scorpio, so you might just see that you put yourself on a new health regime, whether that means using more time at the gym, looking at your diets and so forth. You're just extremely health conscious, physically conscious, and that is also because that is what Virgos do best, right? They're very organic with what they eat and how everything just melds together. Mars, on the other hand, right now is in your 8th house in the sign of Gemini. So that is our masculine side for us females. And for you males, well, Gemini is a very versatile sign, really wanting to spread one's knowledge and insights and accumulate more knowledge as well. But the insight, the knowledge that you're looking at this month has to do with shared resources. Now, that can be anything covered by investments and commissions, royalties, looking into your retirement funds, or how is your mortgage doing? Could you get a better rate? You're going to be catching up on all those things and like resetting here as well. 2 years until Mars will come back to this area and give you that extra oomph, right? Maybe you want to consolidate a couple of loans so that your interest rate goes down, leaving you with more cash at the end of the month. So we're not really looking at your income, the money that you make, but the money that you can save, the money that you can accumulate, or also share with your partner. Mars is really good at doing this, and to help you further along this month is the new moon, which won't be coming before the 25th of May. But that is always new beginnings. That's when we plant the seeds. So by the time you hit May 25th and that new moon, Mars has been plowing along, really putting you into actions. You've been taking the phone calls you need, going through your paper files and so forth, talking with your brokers. And so you will feel so good that by the time of the new moon, I see you placing the intention like, yes, I'm going to pay more attention to this area of my life, because normally it can feel a little boring, right? It just takes time and energy. But the feeling of feeling empowered and more balanced with your long-term investments, while this new moon can help you and keep you going throughout the year to keep a little eye on it. Now the full moon, since we're talking about the moons, is going to show up here for you, Scorpio, in the 1st house, which is your personality. So you're going to take the stage, you're going to be floodlit, whatever the event is coming at around May 10th, depending on where you live. But May 10th is when this takes stage, and I feel that there's something very special taking place so that you could feel that you are the center of attention. It could be things you started on last month that might now come to a full culmination. And for that, well, you know, we always see full moons as harvest, right? And the new moons is planting seeds. So it's like whatever you are planting seeds for now this month, you can harvest next month, there in June. So Jupiter is still retrograding in your sign, no, in your 12th house, I'm sorry, until that of June 10th. So it still is giving you some time to go back through your thoughts, your dreams, and so forth. It's a very spiritual, subconscious, higher conscious area for Jupiter to be in, and it is the ancient ruler of this area too. So it's working for you. The only thing I'd like to say is, sometimes we find that we sacrifice a lot. It's the house of sacrifice, and Jupiter is big. Just don't sacrifice yourself too much in this process, okay? Promise me that. But then, of course, when Jupiter gets into your first house, you're starting a new 12-year cycle. Saturn currently also retrograding until August 6th. That is in your income house. You might just feel that there's, I won't say a shortage for you, Scorpio, because you do really well, but you could feel that maybe there is some challenges, that monies may not be fully available, or that you might have had taken a cut on your pay, or that there has been more expenses than normal, not allowing you the same kind of cash flow. But at the same time, Saturn is holding you to that grindstone so that you can focus on really placing a good, solid foundation. And when I say that, it's a foundation that Saturn wants you to live with for the next 29 years, right? So that's what you're working on. That's why situations are coming up to the forefront, so that you can, by the end of this transit through the second house, you can feel more able and more equipped to know your worth, and what you have worked for is what you're going to be harvesting alongside the oncoming years. So it's actually working good for you, even though it might be a little sometimes we feel that way with Saturn. However, though, we have some beautiful aspects this month, and I'd like to say pay attention to the 4th, because on the 4th, the Sun and Neptune, they're sextiling. That's a beautiful aspect to for your Sun to get in touch with a vision, whatever that vision is. Now, we can have creative ideas, which is a thought, but we don't really see alpha, omega. We don't nearly see always the end product or result of that idea. So you have to kind of weed yourself through the forest. But when we have a vision, we see the beginning as well as we see the end. And I think that is the most important, because if you know the end result and that goal, then you know how to get there and take those shortcuts if you incorporate it properly. On the 9th, we have the Sun and Pluto, beautiful triangular golden aspect, and that is you powering up with Pluto. So an initiation of something new, and that is probably within the areas that you just kind of concluded or shut down on a process where all that is said and done. So now you can really start seeing the new beginnings of it. You're supercharged, and there's a great piece of information reaching you, whether by text or phone call, email, on the 10th. That is Mercury and Uranus. They are conjunct. So I feel that could come from the work area, not necessarily career-oriented, but it could be something that you're working on in your day-to-day life. On the 11th, there might be a little bit of a setback, disappointment, letdown, whatever, but it's not going to last long. I think it's because you've maybe placed a whole lot of hopes and expectations on whatever this date is going to hold for you. But if you're needing to take a rain check, I feel already later in that day, that will already be set in stone and you're good to go. So don't, for whatever reason, take it personally. And it could be you as well, having to cut back on a certain appointment or date here on this day due to whatever circumstances. I mean, these things happen, right? But I see it really moving forward regardless, so just rest assured. On the 12th, we got Mars and Jupiter in a golden triangle. And since Mars is direct, he is fiery, he's on the go. This is your dynamic, physical energy. It is your goal-getting energy as well. Now, with Jupiter, even though Jupiter is still retrograde until June 10th, Jupiter is still being somewhat, I feel, generous with you. This could be you now moving on a goal that you had earlier. It could be an opportunity, perhaps maybe that was presented to you in the past, which now will surface or resurface. And I'm feeling that it could also have to do with something about contracts, negotiations, monies, investments, that kind of thing. So for you, I would say don't let it pass by without grabbing that opportunity, because it's starting off with a great signature of something that could be ongoing for a long time. On the 16th, Mercury will move into the sign of Taurus. And what does that mean? Well, Mercury's the way we think, and Mercury has 12 phases, right? Each month it goes through a new sign, and so we kind of change alongside with it. Now, when we're looking through the filter of Taurus, we're all going to be more Taurian in the way we think. And that has to do with being very mind strong, willful, wanting what we want and expressing it. Taurus is going to be a little stubborn, but it is because they're really wanting to push through their will. And for you right now, I mean, this could be a good thing, especially when it comes to your 7th house, where it's going to enter into, which has to do with relationships. So I can see how you're going to stand your ground and voice your higher intentions with your partner throughout this rest of the month. On the 19th, Saturn and Uranus, well, Saturn is retrograde, and your 2nd house for money and income, but Uranus is in your 6th house and will always present opportunities, unexpected news and changes, and whatever needs to change will be changed. Now, this will impact your income somehow, but in a good way, because it's a triangular aspect. So pay attention, put a circle around the 19th. If there is an expense, I think it's an expense that you have kind of just already earmarked, okay? So it's not one of those out-of-the-box money going out the drain. It's more something that you want, because Uranus is allowing it now to happen for you. On the 19th, there could be choices needing to be made. It could have to do with either love, it has to do with money, it could have to do with design or creative aspects somewhere, and where you want that to go. And that is because Venus and Jupiter will be in opposition. Both of them, mind you, being retrograde. So at this point, no, I'm sorry, not Venus, Jupiter being retrograde, but Venus is direct, so I would say follow your heart. That's where Venus rules. And just don't be too hasty, so you will regret it. But I'm feeling that this Venus here will be good, because Jupiter is still generous, even though he's retrograde. On the 20th, though, the Sun moving into the sign of Gemini, and so our essence will change. Just like I mentioned that Mercury has 12 different faces throughout the year, so does the Sun. It moves through one sign a month, and so our essence, all of us, regardless of what sign we are, we're going to be more curious, we're going to be more talkative, we're going to be more social. That's what Gemini does. We're going to be curious as to wanting to research things that may call upon our attention. And since it's moving into your 8th house, that's where you're going to be exploring. So again, it has to do with retirement funds, investments, maybe looking into what commissions you can make, partnering with brokers and so forth. So the rest of May will hold this window for you as you also enter into June. On the 25th, could be a little dispute here on Lover's Lane, and matters of the heart might come up here a little bit. I won't say just abruptly, but it could be a little fierce. Whenever Pluto is triggered, challenged, it's that volcanic energy. Only in the areas where you might have found yourself putting up with situations where we just keep suppressing and holding down, right? And then it's like a rubber band, something snaps. So if you have an issue with anybody, now this doesn't have to be with your partner, Pluto's in your 3rd house, so it could be with somebody in your closer community, it could be neighbors, it could be your siblings too. Whatever isn't really balanced by this time, well, it will surface and it will come out. People might be a little more snappy this day just because they're all feeling, we all will be feeling this pent-up energy. It's a day to lay low, and then it will pass. On the 28th, Remember I said there on the 4th you had this beautiful vision, right? Now, if you could take that vision and start expressing it, bringing it out, and which I feel you will, because Mercury now is taking that same degree in the sky that the sun had, so it's kind of revamping that vision, but now you're expressing it, maybe trying to get some feedback from it. And Neptune being in that 5th house of creativity, I feel it has to do with a project or something creative that you're wanting to birth, but the 5th house is also children, right? So it could be something that you're thinking about for one or more of your children as well. But the 28th is beautiful, and of course now as we end the month we have a lot of dynamic energy, and this is because Mars and Uranus, they're now sextiling. And so for you, I feel that you will have hit the jackpot, so to speak. Not saying that you're going to win any money or anything, but that Mars is still up there in that 8th house. So what you work throughout the month, looking at either refinancing or consolidating loans or been negotiating contracts, deals, and so forth, this is a time when you can get the green light and you will see how it really worked for you. And of course that new moon, which was there on the 25th, if you planted your seeds, you'll see how this is already starting to take shape, and for the long run, right? We're talking the long run. And then on this very same day, on the 31st, Mercury will also have a golden triangle to Pluto. Now, Pluto has been quite important this month. Pluto transforms anything it touches, right? And when it's beautifully aspected, we get these new beginnings, right, that are very powerfully laden with energy. So this is you communicating, expressing yourself, getting your point through, and I feel it creating an indent or impact on whoever you're speaking to, and doing really, really good. So listen, Scorpio, this is what we do have. If you want to know where these configurations are acting out in your moon or rising sign, it will take place in other parts of your chart, so you can go listen to them now, and I'll see you in June. Have a good one now.